Alright. Okay. Welcome back to Noble Reincarnation Anime Review, episode number 8. We're here to talk about the final episode of Noble Reincarnation Season 1. Weird thing about this episode. There's no episode out of this one, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I would have thought, though, somebody would have released, like, an episode out of this one, but there's, like, no title. Oh, Nobility. Okay, Nobility. So, here's basically what happens in this episode. So, basically, we start off with... So, the girl's name is Olivia, we probably in the last episode, to inform Noah that his eldest brother, because Gilbert's no longer around, Prince Albert, is planning a coup to force the Emperor off the throne to make himself the Emperor because he just cannot wait any longer. So she came across this by offering herself to the second prince, and Noah realizes he can't take him with him, so he leaves the room. He tells Olivia, asks her who she is. She apparently is the daughter of the first prince's butler. So, basically, she's hired immediately on the spot to work for him. And she'll get the same pay that she was getting over at the first prince's house. And the reason why she's telling him this was because Noah offered to spare Gilbert's life. And because the fact her family owes a lot to Gilbert, that's the reason why. She did this out of loyalty to him, to Gilbert. And Noah sees that as something very good. He does appreciate loyalty. So then he races off. He leaves. But by the way, Shirley is not in this episode. You see Zoe and Gigi, where basically they just see him off. And he races to where Albert is, who is at this place to begin his coup d'etat, and he tells his brother he's about to be disinherited, but he doesn't want the Emperor losing more sons. What happened with Gilbert? So, and then of course Noah by himself uses basically Behemoth on Albert's soldiers, but doesn't kill them. And of course, basically, Albert is pretty much lost at this point. So he's offering Albert to commit suicide, and he will spare his family and his subordinates in exchange for this. And he, of course, basically is now willing to do this. And then two of his retainers, who actually are very happy with the fact that they're sparing Albert's family and his subordinates, mentions what happened with the sword, which Noah got back in episode 1, where it was revealed that 120 people were sacrificed in order to basically unleash that sword, which included, the first guy included his older brother and a childhood friend of his, and the other guy, his father. So Noah has the poison wine ready, but he's not going to use it. Olivia is, and of course they force him to drink it. And then Albert just dies because he was impatient, because he was crown prince for 35 years. And of course Noah gives the official, and of course, as by the way, it's also mentioned that his eldest son would take over the household in his place, which the retainers do appreciate Noah for basically sparing not only their lives, but also Albert's family. He very much appreciated that because they realized this all was Albert's idea. It's because I'm sure probably with their rules is that normally the whole entire household gets executed, everybody associated with them gets executed, but because basically it's because of the fact that it's just Albert himself who dies, that's pretty much the reason for that. So, and then right after this, we see the character Audrey, who later becomes the official fiancé for Noah. And then we jump ahead 3 years, where Noah is now 15 years old. He apparently has put on some muscle, put on some armor. What kind of looks like one of his brothers now. The Lightning Prince hasn't aged in 3 years, but Noah has. And here's something kind of weird about this. So, Zoe herself has not really aged at all. Because I think when this series started, I think that Noah was like 8, I believe, when this series first started. And she's like 18. Actually, no, he was 6 and he was 18. So I'm thinking that Zoe must be about 30-ish at this point, because it was mentioned that she was 18 when the series started, and Gigi is there, but she hasn't really aged. And it mentions, oh yeah, because Noah's got more responsibilities, got more people working. He pretty much took the entire subordinates, Albert's subordinates, under himself. And we see Olivia's there. We see another guy that I think that might be her husband. I'm not really sure. It's not really clear who this guy is, but Olivia's definitely there. And we see Audrey's like, oh, I'm about to turn 15 soon. She's by surname. Don't worry, he technically won't because we married soon. And then Noah goes off. But by the way, it's mentioned Noah has moved officially to the capital. Probably out of his mansion he had. So, and the episode ends with him. Look like he's going up to the palace. We do see Lightning Prince in the episode. He does offer a bet. 3 people who possibly could succeed him. Could succeed the Emperor now. The 4th Prince Henry. The 8th Prince Oliver. And the 13th Prince Noah. And Lightning Prince is like, my money's on Noah to succeed the Emperor. And that's the episode. And that's season in a nutshell. Great episode. Nice way to wrap the season up. I think I remember quickly. I think this happened around like, chapter 25-ish of the manga adaptation. I think it was 20 or 30-ish. Around 2025 is when this happened, because I read like all the chapters released for. I think it's like 40. So, oh yeah, we do see the post credits. We do see the songstress where she currently looks now, where she has aged a little bit, not much, where she definitely looks like she's grown a little bit in height, like she's aged, like she grew a couple inches. Like, obviously, her chest looks a little bigger, obviously, but, and we see her singing that she does, like all the end of the episodes, pretty much her debut appearance. Nice to see that, and that's the episode. All in all, fantastic episode. Now on to the final thoughts on Season 1. Well, first of which, I have heard nothing but positive reception for this season. Nothing but positive. Now, the thing is with this particular season, however, where when I got into it roughly about 8 episodes in. Now, I didn't get notified online about the reception for the series. I got purely into this series because I was curious about it. And who knew I enjoyed such a really good series? I got this one first, then Easy Going Territory, and then Jack of All Trades. 3 shows are currently right now. And not surprising, though, that Noble Reincarnation is the first one to officially wrap up. And also I've heard there is demand by the viewers for Season 2. In my honest opinion, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, there's still plenty of story to adapt. Yes, plenty of story. So, could they adapt? Could they do Season 2? It's possible. There's nothing that they can't. Especially since when the season ended, they did leave it open. I mean, Audrey is there. And she does play a role in the manga, very small role, very well, mostly in supporting Noah. Okay, I'm going to spoil this about her. So, she does marry Noah, and they have a kid together. Yep. That is indeed true. I know, because I read the manga. I know I'm spoiling the manga, but as anything else what happens, I'm always wondering what happens with her, because this episode was technically her debut episode. I think they referenced her like a few episodes ago, and now this episode is pretty much her anime debut, which is quite nice. So, the answer to that was question: do I think we might get a season 2? I would not be surprised if we got one. I know one of the shows I'm currently watching right now. They just announced season 2 already, which I'm very happy with that. I'll talk about that on Wednesday. It relates to I'll talk about which season it is on Wednesday. It's not Chain Soldier yet. Chain Soldier's got season 2 right now, but it's one of the two airing on Wednesday. I'll talk about that when it comes Wednesday. Okay, so that's pretty much a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. Next up is, well, you know what? I do have this ready to go. I think I'm going to do a comic corner. Yes, a comic corner. Yeah, but do this next video. Bye.